What's up, everybody? Nick O'Dwyer, back for the 10th inning, here with another episode of This Day in Sports History. In yesterday's episode, we had Pete Rose getting banned for life from Major League Baseball for gambling. We don't have anything quite as depressing or good as that today, depending on how you look at it, but we do have some world records to talk about. We have an abbreviated no-hitter to get into, plus some real no-hitters, and some more Olympic Games to talk about. So if you all enjoy this video, leave a like on it. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Let's get to it. This Day in Sports History. We start off today in 1804, and Alicia Thornton would officially become the first female jockey in England after challenging someone to a race at the York Racecourse. We stay in England, and we stay in the 19th century, move up to 1875, and Captain Matthew Webb would make the first observed and unassisted swim across the English Channel in 21 hours, 45 minutes. 20 years later, moved to tennis in 1895 at the U.S. National Championship, and Fred Hovey would defeat defending champion Robert Wren 6-3, 6-2, 6-4 to win his lone major singles title. We stick with the U.S. National Championship in 1910. On the men's side, William Larned would defeat Tom Bundy 6-1, 5-7, 6-0, 6-8, 6-1 in 5 sets to win his 4th consecutive U.S. singles title and his 6th of 7th Grand Slam singles titles. Finally, at the U.S. National Championship in 1917, on the men's side, Robert Lindley Murray would defeat Nathaniel W. Niles 5-7, 8-6, 6-3, 6-3 to win his 2nd straight U.S. singles title and his 2nd and final Grand Slam singles title. 3 years later, we get into the Antwerp Olympic Games in 1920, and we will start off in swimming. And in the men's 1500 meter freestyle, American Norman Ross would win his first of 3 gold medals with a time of 22 minutes 23.2 seconds. Then in the women's 100 meter freestyle, there would be an American sweep with Athelda Bleibtreu leading the way, winning gold in world record time 1 minute 13.6 seconds, a record that would stand for about 3 years. But Irene Guest would win silver and Frances Schroth would take bronze for the American 1-2-3. Finally, in those games, in the men's plain high diving event, there would be a Swedish 1-2-3 with Arvid Wallman winning gold at 183.5 points ahead of teammates Neil Skordland and John Janssen. 4 years later, move over to Major League Baseball in 1924, and Washington Senators Walter Johnson would almost throw his 2nd career no-hitter in the Senators' 2-0 victory over the Browns, and unofficially, he did throw the no-hitter, but the game was called in the 7th inning due to rain, so that's all it was. It was unofficial, but on the day, Johnson's 7 innings pitched, 2 walks allowed, 2 strikeouts in the victory. Now we move up to 1946, and we go to golf at the PGA Championship, and Ben Hogan would defeat Ed Oliver 6-4 to claim his first of 9 majors. 4 years later, we get back to boxing. This time we get to one of the greatest boxers of all time. Sugar Ray Robinson would win via knockout over Jose Bazora in the first round, actually 55 seconds in. Bazora was knocked down 4 times before he was finally knocked out. Robinson was just a man on a mission this match, like he was much of his career. Back to Major League Baseball in 1952, Virgil Trucks would throw his 2nd career no-hitter as the Detroit Tigers would defeat the New York Yankees 1-0. Trucks on the day, 8 strikeouts, 9 innings pitched, 1 walk allowed, but it's not too bad. It's not like the walk was the only thing. The Tigers also had 2 errors on the day, but at the end of the day, they ended up winning the game. That's what matters. 8 years later in 1960, the Summer Olympic Games would officially open in Rome. We get into our final no-hitter in 1967. Minnesota Twins pitcher Dean Chance would no-hit the Cleveland Indians in a 2-1 victory. It was a crazy first inning for the Twins, and that was the inning they would allow a run. Chance had 2 walks in that inning, a wild pitch, and there would be an error, but that would be the only run that would cross in the game for the Indians. Chance on the day, 9 innings pitched, 5 walks allowed, 8 strikeouts, and the 1 earned run, but the Twins ended up scoring 2, giving him the run support he needed. They ended up winning, Chance got the no-hitter. We move up 1 year to 1968, and Arthur Ashe would become the first black man to win a U.S. singles championship when he would win the U.S. Amateur Championship in 1968, a little less than 1 month before he would end up winning the U.S. Open. but Ash would defeat Davis Cup teammate Bob Lutz 4-6, 6-3, 8-10, 6-0, 6-4 in 5 sets. In 1985, and New York Mets pitcher Dwight Gooden will become the youngest pitcher to win 20 games at only 20 years old, 9 months, 9 days in a 9-3 victory over the Padres. And on his way to winning the Cy Young Award, Dwight Gooden would win the 20 games nearly a month younger than Bob Feller was, who was the previous record holder. Now we start getting into some of the world records, and we will start in 1990 when Lee Huron would set the women's triple jump record at 14.54 meters or 47 feet 8.5 inches, and this is a record that would stand for just under 1 year. Now we get into the 1991 World Athletics Championships, and we will start off in the women's marathon, and Wanda Panfil would win it in 2 hours 29 minutes 53 seconds, 4 seconds ahead of her runner-up. Now we start getting into some of the world records. We'll start in the women's 200 meter backstroke when Christina Egerzegi would set the record with a time of 2 minutes 6.62 seconds, a record that would stand for 17 years until 2008. Then in the men's 100 meter dash, Carl Lewis at 9.86 seconds would set a record that would stand for 3 years. Off of the world records now, we move to 1996. At the 96th edition of the U.S. Golf Amateur Championship, Tiger Woods would end up taking the championship to win his 3rd amateur championship of his career. Let's get back into the Olympics in 2004, and we will start with the home country athlete, Fani Hakia of Greece, would win the women's 400 meter hurdle gold with a time of 52.82 seconds. Over to the windsurfing event on the men's side, and Gal Friedman would become Israel's first Olympic gold medalist when he would win at those games. Now we have an Olympic record to talk about when Olga Kuzakova of Russia would win the hammer throw with a distance of 75.02 meters to win the gold and get the Olympic record. Now we get into the team sports, and we will start off in men's beach volleyball when Emmanuel Rego and Ricardo Santos of Brazil would win 21-16, 21-15 over the team from Spain. Finally in those games, in the baseball gold medal, Cuba would defeat Australia 6-2 to win their 3rd baseball gold medal in the Olympics. We move up 9 years to 2013, get into golf, and at the Canadian Open on the women's side, amateur Lydia Ko would win her 2nd of 3 Canadian Opens at 15 under, and her 2nd straight, winning 5 strokes ahead of runner-up Karine Eicher. We will end today's video off in golf in 2019 at the Tour Championship on the men's side. Rory McIlroy would win by 4 strokes, and in 2019 they changed up the rules a little bit. Whoever would win this tournament would end up taking the FedEx Cup. McIlroy would win. He would take his 2nd FedEx Cup in his career. So there you have it. That's what happened on this day in sports history. If I left anything out, I do apologize. But I'll see everybody tomorrow for Nick Ridgewire and the 10th inning. See ya.